No, my main deck has 8 creatures. We are playing 4 copies of Goblin Electromancer.
I'm going to kill all of them. All 8.
4 copies
Get
of
'em outta here.
Crackling Drake, not to be confused with Enigma Drake or Hotline Bling Drake.
What is Hotline Bling Drake?
Hotline Bling is a popular song.
Yeah, I know
on
what
the
the
radio,
song is.
and by the artist Drake.
It's by, okay, sure.
Yeah. A lot of people have made Drake memes out of me playing Crackling Drake, just on Twitter.
Okay.
Just want to...
Yeah, didn't know that was Drake.
Cool.
I'm old.
Yeah.
Hotline Bling sort of sounds like the song that was like partially ripped from the Wii Shop theme song. You know what's that song?
No.
Bum 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 bum.
Oh, Wii Shop as in the Nintendo Wii.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because I thought I didn't know what Wii Shop was. Okay.
I don't know what's happening right now.
That's fine. That's like me 90% of the time, no matter where I'm at or what I'm doing.
Just roll with it.
Yeah. So I'm going to be playing an Izzet Spells Concoction.
Shocker.
Yeah. I basically played one of these decks on Versus Live the last like 4 or 5 times I've been on, just because I love drawing cards.
I thought you were going to say the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But a lot of Izzet decks.
I'm a one-trick pony.
Yeah. You know, when you got your brand,
yeah,
you just stay with it.
Look,
and
I'm playing 2 non-Izzet decks also. I played the mono red deck, which is half of Izzet.
Izzet, and then we got a mono blue deck.
And then I'm playing Grixis, which also has Izzet in it. So yeah. Look. The brand is strong. The
The brand identity is strong.
Yeah. So
we don't deviate.
One of the cool things about this Izzet deck, and I just want to point out, I played this deck on stream yesterday and the day before.
This is from the top 8 of the PTQ, correct?
This is from 6th place. Grant Fly is the name of the pilot. And I played 2 leagues with this deck. And I went 5-0 in the first one. And I went 4-1 in the second one.
Sick brags, Todd.
My one loss was to that deck. So I want to point that out.
Yeah.
It's a really good deck, but I did beat it 2 other times. So I'm just saying, I think the deck is very good. This is the kind of a hybrid of all the Izzet type decks I've been trying to build over the last few weeks, and the fact that this deck I never felt like there was an out of place card in this deck. Like, I've tried to change a card here, like add an Essence Scatter, change a sideboard slot, and every time I do it, I just feel like I'm making the deck worse. The card Radical Idea, for example, is not something that you would think would go in a deck like this because...
you mean a constructed deck?
Well, yes and no. Obviously, it's not think twice, It's a little bit cheaper. When you have Goblin Electromancer, you get to cast it for pretty cheap. What it does, though, is cycle, and it also fills the graveyard for Crackling Drake. Normally, you would want it in a deck that plays something like Arclight Phoenix, right? Because you want the Jumpstart to be able to discard Phoenix while also having something that triggers multiple times.
It's what we call in the business synergy.
Yes, and traditionally synergy, though, just is not very good in Standard. You just need to play very powerful cards.
Yeah.
Every time I try to build a synergistic deck,
hence you put Radical Idea in your deck.
Right.
Very powerful magic card.
You know what? Let's get my salt meter up a little bit. Can we do that? But yeah, I really like the feel of this deck. At no point did I ever think like something seems bad. Like, there was never a point where a single card in my deck ever seemed actively bad. Yes, I side out Radical Idea when I don't know what else to side out, but I think that that's natural for a card that kind of filters your draw, something like Opt or Radical Idea, just because you don't really know what you're digging for in game 1 a lot of times, and it can help you like find extra lands. But once you know the matchup, once you have your sideboard configuration, you just want a density of like cheap removal against red. You want a density of like land drops and counter spells against like a control deck. And after sideboard, your deck just becomes more geared towards what you're playing against,
as opposed to more geared towards what you're doing.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense. I'm pretty excited, actually. This Izzet deck looks pretty cool. I've been trying to build more aggressive versions of Izzet decks, and they haven't worked out as well.
Yeah, Enigma Drake, definitely on my radar of card that has been in a lot of my decks. Do you know the name of the 1-drop red spell that gives something +1/+1 in haste, and then it has Jumpstart? Because I saw somebody play that the other day in a deck with Enigma Drake and Crackling Drake, and I thought, wow, that looks cool.
I do not.
Okay.
But I'm sure Director Robert is frantically looking up the card right now.
Just look up just search for jump dash start. And it's going to pop up. But that's something
or the
that
chat is
I
probably
want to try.
frantically yelling
Yeah,
at MP.
yeah, of course.
So,
before we get started, though, do we have any questions from chat that you would like to ask?
We have a few. First off, Curlyhead321. I totally missed the question the last time when we were doing the previous video. I do apologize for that. Between Lava Coil and Fight with Fire for the mono red deck, what would be the better sideboard card?
I mean, well, Max Mavidi played both. I just want to point that out.
If you had to choose one.
If you had to choose one, I mean, why would you only choose one? Like, Lava Coil is really good against opposing Rekindling Phoenixes.
Very good against Steel Leaf Champion.
Right? It's really good against the green beatdown decks with Steel Leaf Champion. Exiles, which is a pretty big deal in some matchups. And against, like, the Boros Angels decks, it takes care of, like, Shalai, Voice of Plenty.
Yeah, but against Boros Angels, you really need Fight with Fire to deal with Lyra and Aurelia.
Right.
So that's the Angels that really push you to Fight with Fire. Some other threats push you towards Lava Coil. So a mix is generally best. And that, we've seen that a lot with just in removal suites in Standard, whether they're out of the sideboard in an aggro deck or the removal suite in a control deck. You want a nice mix of things because the removal spells that they print all have certain conditions on them that are designed to have specific holes in the metagame. And if you want to be able to at least cover everything a little bit, you need to mix and match.
Yeah,
so
I definitely agree mix and match is preferable to 4 of either one.
Yeah.
Max Mavidi was playing, I think, 4 Lava Coil and 3 Fire with Fire. So, like, if you're trying to fit some other stuff in your sideboard, you might can go 3-3 or even, like, 2-3, and I probably would lean Lava Coil over Fight with Fire, personally.
Same.
Just because you need, I think, an abundance of Lava Coils to not only fight, like, the Crackling Drake decks, like being able to just 2-mana take care of that immediately is really powerful, but also just making sure that you get to hit Steel Leaf Champion, I think, is huge.
Yeah.
Maximize Velocity. That is the Jumpstart card that gives +1/+1 and haste to Enigma Drake. Making Enigma Drake.
Maximize velocity. Are they just dropping it off a cliff so it hits terminal velocity?
No, that would be called Terminal Velocity.
But that's also maximized velocity.
It's one of those Viashino dudes on the...
Oh, is he like sand skating down a hill?
Sand skating, yeah.
Nice. Nice. All right, let's hit 2 more questions.
Sick grinds, bro. So,
Radical.
Yes.
Idea.
Tubular.
Alexis Bros. For Todd, more or less risk factor when you play against control?
Oh, absolutely more risk factor. You want up to 4 risk factor against control decks, 100%. They're not putting like basically any pressure on you. If they don't have exactly Syncopate, you're going to be able to turn one of your excess lands or redundant creatures, into a big draw 3 or a burn 4, and both of those are very good. Risk factor actually loses value when your opponent has more threats because you need to be able to answer those. And then when you start drawing risk factors, when your opponent's at a very high life total, they're just going to start taking 4, and it's going to be not exactly ideal. And that's where the trap of the Punisher mechanic really starts to falter.
Yeah, the fact that it doesn't affect the board on either choice really punishes you against opposing creature decks, and I agree 100% with Todd. As many as you can.
All right.
Maybe you can get away with 5, I don't know.
Yeah, last 2 we have here are statements. First off, Kill a Germ, one of our mods. As far as the in and out controversy is concerned.
There's no controversy.
Anthony Bourdain, the late Anthony Bourdain, says he likes in and out, game over.
Yeah. So, who else likes in and out?
Gordon Ramsay say he liked in and out too?
Yeah, Gordon Ramsay. So 2 for 2.
Yeah, 2 for 2 there. Finally,
no one cares.
Hey, we don't make fun of Guy Fieri on this broadcast. He's just a guy doing what he loves, and people just, kind of crap on him for no reason.
Well,
I'm not having it.
I've got no problem with Guy Fieri, but his restaurant in New York City apparently sucks.
Well, sure.
Oh, boy.
Look, Wolfgang Puck also produces, like, some frickin' frozen meals or whatever, so I'm sure Gordon Ramsay has some frozen meal product, too. That's just called capitalism, and it's awful.
Okay.
And we're done there. Last statement for Todd from Crayson 1. If you win this match, 1,000 bits for you.
So Crayson is a part of the Todd Squad. We have recently coined that term for my stream, which I love. Yesterday, I was trying to go back-to-back 5-0s with this deck, and I went 4-1 in the second one. He offered me 5,000 bits, which is equivalent to like $50, and I failed, and I was very sad. But we're doing that for you, Grayson. Let's go. All right. So you lost last round. Do you want to just go first?
No, we're rolling. I want to win a die roll.
All right. If you don't win, are you going to be super salty?
No
So
comment.
I get
comment.
1 die for my poker hand?
Yep, and I got 5.
All right.
That seems less than optimal.
I got a pair of sixes. You have nothing? You have a
pair
pair of
of
twos?
twos.
All right. Pair of sixes wins. You lose. Good date, sir. Good date, sir.
You get nothing.
All right. I'll be on the play.
I'll be on the draw.
My hand is pretty good. If we draw a land, we're definitely in great shape.
It's a good start. It's a good start.
Your turn.
Okay, this hand's a little slow, but it's fine. Land
Well, I
Elves.
started with a steam vent, so you got time.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
No Llanowar Elf. That's good for me. Oh, we drew a land. Nice. You're going to start
What's
with a
that like?
Goblin Electromancer. Little one gobby boy. What you got? If you don't kill it, I have no faith in you anymore.
Well, I don't really want to use the removal spell in my hand on that.
Okay.
Because it's basically going to be like you have a Goblin Electromancer.
Okay. Oh, it's Trophy. Nice card.
So I'm going to dig for a different removal spell.
This trophy's so bad.
I got a Swamp.
Yeah, nice.
You can go.
My turn? Great.
Grayson 1 goes, fine, 5,000 bits.
Wow. Dude, you don't have to do that. That's just not something you have to do. I was just saying that yesterday I failed. So we have like some answers to this, and I kind of want to push damage here. And all right, we're going to Shiv and Fire. Even though Shiv and Fire later on can kill a 4 toughness creature, the only one that's really in Ross's deck is
Golgari, Find a Broker.
All right, your turn.
I'm at 18.
One way I found in this deck to beat the Golgari decks is to just not worry too much about their card advantage and just push damage as much as possible.
16.
Ionize, of course,
Pass turn.
costing 1 less thanks to Goblin Electromancer. We are going to Shock. I'm going to go to 18. We're going to play a Crackling Drake. And we are going to push some more damage.
14.
Your turn.
It's not going so well.
Yeah, one thing I love about Crackling Drake is that it actually gets a little bit over Golgari or Vraska Golgari Queen, since she only targets things that cost 3 or less.
3 in hand?
I have 3 in hand, and they're all great. Here comes a Ravenous Chupacabra, or a Vraska's Contempt. I'm not sure which.
So the mana efficient play for me here is to play the 4-drop and then double spell, but that is the least card efficient play. And my life total is still reasonably high. Todd's only on 3 cards, so I think I can afford to be a little inefficient here. So I'm just going to trophy this Drake.
All right. Let me get a mountain.
And I'm going to do it before Todd untaps, because then he can counter the trophy, and that would be Bad News Bears.
Yes, that's true.
And not even the good Walter Matthau version, the bad Billy Bob Thornton remake.
All right. Are you all done?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to lightning strike you.
11.
Thanks for giving me the land. Appreciate it. Nice deck, nice card.
No problem.
Deck 2.
9.
I'll play another Crackling Drake.
If I told you lately that I hate you.
Every day, Ross. All right, go.
That doesn't seem like a very nice song, Ross.
No, it's not. Ross is not a very nice person when he's losing. When he's winning, or we'll say other points in the evening, he's pretty jovial.
Vraska.
Sure. You get a minus on this?
Yep.
Nice.
Pass.
All right, so currently Drake is only a 3/4, but we're going to get some Hotline Bling going here in a second. Huh. All right, we're going to gamble a little bit. This is potentially not great, but we're going to gamble. It's 4. Play an Electromancer, and I'm going to attack, I think, you. This is tough. The life is actually important on the plus on Vraska, and he can dig for another answer to this Crackling Drake. So I'm just gonna attack here. Your turn. It's not my favorite thing to do, but it's okay. If he had drawn a land for, if he had just hit 6 lands here for Vraska Relic Seeker, I think he actually has a tick down on this, or he just there's a threat that he dies. And then we just get to...
I drew the card I wanted to draw.
Nice.
I'm not sure how to proceed.
Okay. Cool.
Not used to good things happening. A little thrown.
A little off put here.
But I'm going to play Jadelight Ranger.
Yeah. It 1 land and a Playcraft. That's pretty good. If you can deal with this, then the Playcrafter kills this. I'm sure you have another removal spell here, right? Is that what's happening? That's...
Yeah, I guess we want to kill this Electromancer. Do we?
I don't know.
You already have plenty of mana. You don't have that many cards. Is that ability going to do a whole lot? You got the Chemist's Insight, though, yeah. So let's keep that there.
Okay.
Cast down this Drake.
Yep.
Pass the turn.
Was that the card you wanted to draw?
Yep.
Nice. All right. I will... Oh, perfect. We can do it all. Take it. 16. Gonna Lava Coil your thing for 1 mana. Gonna attack for 2, put you to 7. We're gonna play another Drake, draw a card. And we're just gonna show you this Ionize and say go. Why? Where are you going?
I'm going home, Todd.
Where are you going? You know what was in your hand?
2 lands and another Jadelight Ranger.
Nice. Jailer Ranger. It's not very good when you're getting beat down. So you're going home. Is that what you're saying? You're taking your ball. You're going home.
Taking everyone's ball.
All
Taking
right,
all the balls.
Let's get a couple of questions in, and
right.
then we're gonna take a 2-minute break for sideboarding. But before that,
For Ross, creepy from Terry R089. Yeah, R089. Creeping Chill in Dredge. What do you think?
that's
2
it?
thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Card is very good. Increases your clock against combo decks, which is important. And it does so not just with the damage, but also with making your bloodcast have haste a lot sooner. So you
that's a
turn
big
4
deal.
kill a lot more often. The life gain is super important in all the creature matchups, which tend to be grindy. And obviously it's excellent against burn, and it gives you more reach against decks whose plan is to just go up the ground against your mopey creatures. So yeah, it is excellent. I think Dredge is once again a good deck in Modern. It is not a great deck, but it is a good deck. And if you want to play it and you know the deck well, I would encourage you to do so and play 3 to 4 Crippling Chills in your main deck.
Yeah, I think it's Creeping Chill, not Crippling.
Yep.
Get it right. We're not playing 3 mana freezer guy draw a card. Okay.
It's a good card though.
This is a good card. It's
Cast
good
that card a
limited
lot in Cons Limited.
Yeah. How many times did you hard cast Creeping Chill this weekend?
At least 1.
Nice. Was it good? Like, was it like lethal?
Oh, I hardcast 2 in the same game.
Nice.
They were good. They died. My opponent died.
All right, let's get 2 more. 2 more.
Sloopy Goopers just subscribed. So what's up to Sloopy?
Sloop.
Or Sloppy.
Sloppy Goop.
Sloppy Goopers.
Goop.
So many double O's.
Sounds like you're the
his
sloppy
question,
gooper.
His question. What do you think about Grixis Control / Midrange as a major contender for Standard?
I'll fill this one. We interacted a lot with Andrew Jessup this weekend. He has been piloting this deck on Magic Online, like testing, and he ended up taking 2nd place in the Standard Classic, which was a pretty hefty sized tournament, considering
8 round Standard Classic, 160, 170 people.
Yeah, and I mean his list looked pretty good. There was also another version of his deck that was I believe on the Magic Online PTQ.
There was a Grixis
2nd
Dragons
place.
deck in 18th in the Magic Online PTQ.
Well, I think Grixis, like something that looked very close
Yeah,
to Andrew
there was-
Jessup's list, actually got 2nd. And,
yeah, a more standard Grixis deck.
Andrew, I think, leaned towards Moment of Craving on his 2-drop slot, where the
Yeah.
PTQ deck, I think, had Cast Down in the 2-drop removal slot. But don't quote me on that. I think the card, Nicol Bolas Ravager, is insane. I think the card's busted. The fact that Nullhide Ferox isn't running around in multiples right now in a lot of decks means that
Would you
don't get
describe it
punished.
as Busty Wusty?
Is that a reference to something?
No.
What?
No,
I just made it up right now.
I would not. I would not call it that, Ross.
Okay,
What is wrong with you?
I would. Same.
This is live TV. Why are you doing this? All right, one more question.
I can't turn myself off, Todd.
That's fine.
All right.
I can't help it.
From Popper Thingy. So, Ross, how do you feel in a Golgari deck about playing Llanowar Elves after turn 1? Do you lose any value with that, is what they're asking.
Do
you lose value spending your mana to play a mana dork after turn 1?
I mean, they're not. Mana creatures are not particularly good after turn 1, or they do naturally lose value. But with this deck, where your curve is going all the way to 6 to Vraska Relic Seeker, and you've got a healthy number of 4 and 5 drops, playing it on turn 2 or 3 in addition to a removal spell, let's say, is a fine play. You're still ramping, and between Plaguecrafter and Vraska Golgari Queen, you have multiple ways to cash the body in for something relevant as the game goes along, and that's the more relevant aspect of having mana creatures in a mid-range deck. Typically, mid-range decks avoid playing them for that reason, because they're poor top decks in the late game, but the fact that this deck has multiple ways to make use of the body as the game keeps going means that you get a much lower opportunity cost of putting it in your deck, because you don't run into that situation where it's a useless draw later as often, and having it in the early turns is just one of the most powerful. It's the most powerful start you can have in Standard.
Yeah. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break, around 2 or 3 minutes, and we're going to fix our sideboards, and we'll be right back.
And we're back here with sideboarding of Golgari Midrange versus Izzet Spells. On my side, I'm going to treat Todd like a control deck, but I have to make concessions to the specific way the Izzet deck is built. Most notably, I would typically be bringing in Argyll's Bloodfast, one of the best cards against control decks, but with the wealth of burn in Todd's deck, it becomes a liability, so we can't bring that one in.
I completely agree. From my experience on playing this deck on Magic Online, a lot of my opponents bring in Argyll's Bloodfast, and every time they draw a card, I'm like, 2 points closer to Banefire, 2 points closer to kicking the fight with fire.
Yeah, so we are bringing in some of our other anti-control elements. Duress is going to be excellent in this matchup. I'm bringing in Contempt as a, I think, better removal spell than Assassin's Trophy or Deadweight, even though it's more expensive. The life gain is certainly relevant, and just having a card that can deal with either threat. Deadweight doesn't deal with Drake. Assassin's Trophy doesn't really deal with Electromancer because you don't want to cast it early, as we saw in game number 1. I also just don't want to come down on my total number of removal spells. There aren't a ton of threats in Todd's deck. Just the 8 creatures, and then he's bringing in a Ral in, so going down on removal is generally good. I do like the Eldest Reborn as a removal spell that also generates a lot of card advantage. And then Deathgorge Scavenger is going to be really good against Todd's Jumpstart cards. It'll shrink potential Crackling Drakes. So even though it's a threat that often just gets 1-for-1, you'll usually get a little bit of value even off the first trigger. And if it sticks around for any length of time, it should be excellent.
So this might sound really stupid. I think even though you're on the play, you don't want to draw too many copies of Llanowar Elves in this matchup. You want cards that have a punch. I have a tough time actually dealing with Planeswalkers. I think all the Planeswalkers should be in the deck. And, I think you also want to make sure you just naturally hit land drops. So, like Merfolk Branchwalker, you can't really cut those. I think Finebroker is a card that's really good against me just because I have to grind through all that stuff. Yeah. But I think you definitely want all your Planeswalkers.
Okay. My worry about Vraska was that it's pretty difficult to use the -3 effectively, because then it just gets burned out. But I guess that 2-for-1 is still fine.
Yeah, if you're killing Electromancer and trading for like a Lightning Strike or a Shock or whatever, that's fine. I don't think you want to cut around a Chupacabra, though, because you do just get to cast that and check my Crackling Drakes pretty easily. Like I said, I think cutting a Llanowar Elf is the right cut. Either that, or maybe even not sideboarding in Deathgorge Scavenger, because it doesn't actually shrink Crackling Drake because it checks on exile. It can eat Chemister's Insights, though. But if you have a Deathgorge Scavenger, I'm probably going to try to play around it.
Yeah, but I only have 1, so you're definitely not going to play around it.
No, I'm not going to. So I actually main phase quite a few Chemister's Insights just to hit land drops. So there is a chance that you get to eat one of my Chemisters with the Deathgorge Scavenger. So, like I said, I think cutting a Llanowar Elf is right. But
okay, yeah. I'll go with Todd. You convinced me.
From my side, again, we want to play a more controlling role, but our overall plan is to just burn Ross out, because Crackling Drake does just get eaten up pretty easily with things like Chupacabra, Cast Down, Eldest Reborn, Vraska, Relic Seeker. We're going to try to counter some of his more expensive things with things like Negate and Disdainful Stroke. Patient Rebuilding is a card I actually get asked about a lot. This is a 5-mana card that's pretty tough to actually interact with. What it does, it acts as a win condition by milling your opponent, but basically whenever they mill over land, you get to draw a card. Right. So it's a card draw engine that also acts as a win condition, and it's really good when your opponent has a bunch of spot removal that targets creatures.
I didn't know this card existed.
Yeah, it was insane and limited. Anyway, we're also bringing in... yeah, it's great. One route is at Viceroy, very similarly to Patient Rebuilding. It's a card draw engine that can function as like a removal spell. Fight with Fire is... We just want more of these like big fireball type effects, but also it can just clear off a big creature early on. And we just want to make sure we have a reasonable number in our deck. As we discussed earlier, I think trimming Opt and Radical Idea is fine once you have a sideboard that you like in your configuration to something you like. Yeah, of course, Vivian Reed's very good against me. It also just kills Crackling Drake. I know.
Here.
And then Cutting Shiv and Fire because it doesn't go to the Dome Ski.
Doesn't go to the Dome Ski has been called.
Yeah. Look, Mr. What did you say?
Busty Wusty.
Busty Wusty? Yeah. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me
Okay.
about that.
No talking the rest of the video.
Yeah. Get out of
Nope.
here.
Quiet time.
Absolute silence.
All right. Let's hit a few questions while
You
we
lost
are
the quiet
shuffling
game,
out.
Todd.
Armadillon asks, is
a good
Fiery
screen name.
Cannonade the best counter against tokens decks?
I think it's very good. Saying it's the best, I think, is wrong just because, not every deck that plays sweepers can afford to play red. I also think Deafening Clarion has a lot of value in any deck that is Boros based. Or just like, a Jeskai control deck, I think wants Clarion because there are a reasonable number of 3 toughness creatures that it kills.
Yeah.
I think Fiery Cannonade is specifically the best answer to March of the Multitudes.
Yes.
But,
It's also a very good answer to History of Benalia.
Yes.
So
Is Cannonade 2 in a red or 1 double red?
2 in a
It's
red.
2 in a
Okay.
red. It is very easy to splash if you're playing red. You don't have to even be heavy red.
When you say best counter to something, like the best counter to a deck or to a certain card, there's 2 ways you can interpret that statement. It's what is the best card that acts as an efficient counter to them, and what is the best card at specifically countering them. And I think Cannonade is the latter, but probably not the former.
All right. Same vein as the tokens, Jared Ferris 87. Is Abzan token something we might possibly see in the very near future?
I'll let you field that one.
What are we splashing black for?
Black for new for Assassin's Trophy and new Vraska.
I don't think Trophy is... I mean, in small numbers, it's probably fine, but it's unnecessary. New Vraska is pretty good, but it's not exactly what the token decks are trying to do. The token decks naturally grind well just by virtue of what token makers do.
Yeah.
And if you just use the anthems to let the tokens trade efficiently, then... So you don't really need something that converts them into resources, which is what Vraska does. And what the token decks are trying to do is just establish a board presence that is overwhelming, and the black cards don't really go with that. So if we get to a point where there's a lot of anti-tokens hate, maybe you shift towards a more mid-range direction and splash black as a counter at that point.
Yeah, I mean, then you get a little
that's
more
about
powerful top end. Like, I think Vraska Relic Seeker is fine as just like a catch-all answer to a lot of stuff. And it's pretty easy to splash black in the Selesnya deck.
Yeah,
So.
it is easy. The question is whether it's worthwhile.
Right.
Also, this is me snapping it off.
Okay, my hand's great too. One more question before we get started.
JST127. Ross, have you reconsidered your position on cucumbers?
No, cucumbers are terrible.
What if they're pickled?
Even worse.
We've had this conversation
Wow.
before,
I
I
don't like
believe.
pickles.
Okay, so you just aren't a fan of pickles. Why are they terrible? Why are cucumbers specifically terrible?
Cucumbers are terrible because they don't taste like anything. They are literally only there for a textural contrast. They also ruin every salad. Every single salad on every menu has meat or cucumbers. And I just want a salad that doesn't have those 2 things.
Well, say no meat, no cucumber.
Yeah, I say that a lot.
Okay, so what's the problem?
I don't want to have to say that as often. It's inconvenient.
Is
Oh,
a
no.
plain
2
Caesar
seconds of
salad
my
just too hard to ask for?
Yeah. Can I just get lettuce?
In a bowl.
You're shocking. That's shocking. Okay.
I'm at 18.
All right. I'm going to play an Izzet Guildgate. Your turn.
That's a powerful
Not
magic card.
my favorite, but,
Wow. I'm going to go to 16
Okay.
and play Jade Light Ranger.
That's a good one.
Graveyard.
All right.
Cedric has just showed up in chat.
Nice.
Says cucumbers are great. Ross dumb.
That's
Well,
true. All that is true.
Cedric is wrong. Please don't fire me.
Your turn.
I will play a Merfolk Branchwalker.
Sure.
Graveyard. Attack for 5.
Yeah, that's
Go.
a pretty big hit. 15. All right. Search for Scant to trigger.
I was told that explore creatures help you hit your land drops. I was lied to.
All right.
Sir, we
We're
are in a
gonna lightning
workspace
strike
that
this
loves
and shock
pickles.
this. Your turn.
This is no bueno.
We're still at 15.
Merfolk Branchwalker.
Yep.
Graveyard.
I was going to go ahead and put one on there. I just knew you weren't going to hit a land.
You're at 12. Go.
Yeah, you got 6 power, and I don't have that many removal spells left in my deck. All right, we're actually going to bin and ionize because we need removal. Go.
Cedric says Ross gets to keep his job if Ross says cucumbers are great.
A man of principles.
So long,
He's
Roanoke.
a man of principle.
Are you going to 6?
Yeah.
Go.
All right, I'll draw 2 cards and try to find an answer to these little doofuses busting a hole in my head. Whoop.
It was a good run. It was a good run.
Oh no, we're getting close to death here. Go. We have to
Cedric
block.
intensifies. It's time, Ross. Say it. Say it, Ross.
Attack.
Mind you, this is
we'll
through
block.
Cedric, not me.
Before damage, we're gonna discard an island to chemisters. Draw 2. We'll take
Go to
3.
3.
I'm at 3.
Go.
I'm at 3. I just want to point out, you missed your 3rd land drop a bunch, and you explored a bunch. But I am at 3, and you have a 3-power creature.
I've seen 9 cards.
Graveyard, transform.
I am very dead.
You are very dead. That is an astute observation.
Cedric now says he feels bad because Ross has no lands.
I'm just gonna
So
make
maybe
sure
you're
I don't
safe,
lose
Ross.
to a random removal spell, and I'm gonna fight that with fire. Your turn. Even though we were very close to kicking it.
Go.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your deck sucks. You know, that's not my fault. Attack.
Oh, this is the only deck I lost to, Ross. It's
14.
good.
All right.
I'm Todd Anderson.
Just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna put you to 4 life.
Okay, we might be at Dead Sea levels.
All right. Oh no. I'm just gonna 10 you. Just 10 you. That's it. Because we have the Electromancer.
Cue
did it.
miracle sound.
You did it.
I have done it.
You have done it.
I will exile your Goblin Electromancer and go to 6.
Nice. All right.
Taste it.
Yeah, it tastes pretty bad actually. My last 2 cards are not great. All right, we will activate Scan to the Sunken Ruin. We will take a negate. That's not great. Play a land, and we will say go. Actually, no. Yeah, go.
I am assuming Todd has a removal spell here.
If I had a removal spell, I would have killed your creature and attacked you.
That's true.
What are you talking about?
So you have an Ionize in your hand?
I have 3 counterspells. You know I have a negate, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, I have 3 counterspells. I am loose to a Deathgorge Scavenger right now. I should have waited on this fight with fire. That's what I should have done. For multiple reasons.
Plague Crafter.
Yeah, we're going to counter it.
I go to 4.
You're at 4.
Attack you, exile the shock.
Sure. I will chump block.
Go.
All right. Draw for turn.
Brick! Brick! Brick!
We have bricked.
Brick!
Let's see if we brick again.
Brick again! 4 more times!
Oh, okay, there we go. Ooh, I guess I don't want to get rid of the lava coil or the fight with fire. We're gonna leave it in my deck, and we're just gonna.
A dead brick!
I didn't brick. All right, kill that. It's exile. Your turn.
Yeah, I exiled it.
Yeah, I know.
You think there's an amateur hour over here?
Kinda. You're just complaining, and I'm almost dead. I'm at 3. I had
Yeah.
to chump block with an Electromancer.
So I know Todd has a negate.
That's true.
Probably has another Ionize in his hand. Like a jerk.
I know it's very
3.
powerful,
I'm going to force him to have the Ionize.
but no, you're gonna stroke it.
Okay, well that one works too. You can go.
All right. Draw.
So now Todd gets to see 10 more cards before he has to worry about anything.
1, 2, 3, 4. What's this? Banefire for lethal you? You're 4, right? Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Banefire you! Well, I need that for the 3rd game, the pity game that you keep getting because you can't win any. Banefire you.
For the rest of the video, your name is now Lost Marion.
Oh,
Oh,
yes!
no.
Lost Miriam! Yes! He loses every die roll. He loses every game. This is great. This is so good. I love it. Yes.
Oh man.
All right, let's get some questions. We're gonna give Ross a pity game.
Scooter 222
Oh, Scooter, that's my buddy Eric.
wants a Bane impression. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes, Ross Merriam. You simply adopted the Golgari clan. I was born in the darkness.
Molded by it.
Molded by it.
Let's see. Daniel from Brazil 3.
Wait, there's 3 of them? That's pretty specific.
More than 3 Daniels in Brazil.
Yeah,
Who
wow.
knew?
No, I thought he meant there's 3 Brazils, and he's from the third one.
Oh. Like a Futurama alternate reality type
Alternate
deal?
reality, triple Brazil.
There's Brazil 1, Brazil 2, and Brazil 3, and they're all
No,
way
Brazil,
better at soccer
Brazil
than us.
1,
Yeah.
Brazil A, and Brazil something else.
Yeah. Brazil 1 and
So,
Brazil A.
And Brazil Alpha.
Daniel's question, mono blue aggro. Is that good for people that are starting out in standard? Like,
I
relatively
think-
new people.
I played a little bit with that deck at our last BCW challenge event, and it is competitive. So if you're looking for a budget option that you can win your F&M with, that is definitely a deck. Also, it's super fun. I love tempo decks. So yeah, Curious Obsession is a very, very powerful magic card, and the blue counter spells are good, and Tempest Djinn is awesome.
Tempest Djinn is great. All right, let's
So
do
yeah,
one more
I would
question
recommend.
before we start.
All right, from Popper Thingy again. So for Ross, would Glowspore Shaman be better than Branchwalker in trying to get more lands? Since you only got, what, 3?
I mean, I wouldn't hit a land with Glowspore Shaman either.
I'll take this one, I guess. I'm a huge fan of the Explorer creatures over something like Glowspore Shaman. Being able to potentially gain card advantage is better than digging a little deeper to try to make sure you hit a land.
Also, sometimes Merfolk Branchwalker doesn't die to Goblin Chain Roller.
Yes.
In
I
fact,
agree with
most
that.
of the time. So 2 big pluses in its favor.
Yeah, I mean, I actually just prefer all the Explorer creatures for graveyard enabling than Glowspore Shaman. Like, milling 2 extra cards versus making sure you hit your land drops, or trying to gain you extra cards to hit land drops. You don't actually draw a card off of the Shaman. Yeah, I'm on 6.
It's a real pity game. Keeping
Yeah.
your 6.
Yeah,
'cause my 7 is thoroughly mediocre,
Great.
much like my deck.
So I guess I kind of want to shock on 2. Or, sorry, I'll just shock,
Shock
on
on
1.
one.
Yeah.
The Mason Clark would like to point out to you, Ross, that cucumbers are actually very good at absorbing salt.
Wow.
Wow, dude, chat is eviscerating you.
Okay.
With facts.
Yes, with facts.
I will cast a Death Gorge Scavenger.
That resolves.
I will pass the turn.
Yeah, I will shock it. I will play Goblin Electromancer and say good. This is the part where something like Ravenous Chupacabra is kind of gross.
I will duress you.
I will negate that.
I will play a Plague Crafter.
That's fine.
Pass
Cards?
the turn.
3.
Trace.
All right. Play a Crackling Drake trigger. Want to get this down before he can cast Relic Seeker. Vivian Reed is bad though. Please don't play Vivian Reed.
I
That's
will
fine.
select
We
Golgari
can beat that one
Mindbreaker.
very easily.
Pass.
All right. So currently just a 2.
You know, you play 2 for 1, I can play 2 for 1.
I had you for 2.
Mine's bigger than yours.
18 to 18. Your turn.
Mush you for 3.
Yeah. 15 to 18.
Vraska Relic Seeker.
Yeah, I'm gonna counter that one and deal you 2 damage.
Okay.
You're at
16.
16.
Go.
Be big. All right. Now what? Now what, chat? What do we do? Oh, that's pretty good.
So,
Sorry, 1 second.
yep.
12, 5,
Do you
7.
think?
Someone's got decisions.
I do have decisions.
You can talk to me, Dan.
Okay.
It's probably not going to go well for me.
So, Conquer 7 pointed out something.
Is that like Conquer from Conquer's Bad for a Day?
Unfortunately, no, but
It'd be a lot cooler if it was.
Ross, do you not like Jello?
Jello is horrible.
Just so we can establish something, is it the gelatin or the pudding or both?
Jello.
Just say
Okay.
both.
The gelatin.
The
Okay.
gelatin.
Pudding is
I mean,
fine,
what about like various desserts that use gelatin for form?
such as
I want to say chocolate mousse uses some amount of gelatin, but I could be wrong.
chocolate mousse is delicious.
Okay.
Attack you for 3.
Yeah, I'm at 12. 12 to 13.
I will cast a Merfolk Branchwalker.
Sure.
Explore. Wish I could draw that duress. Oof. So I'm playing Playcrafter.
I messed up. I think I need to do something here in response to this. The dress is not super. I guess the dress is relevant, so I'm just gonna leave it be.
I'm gonna put this in the graveyard, and then I'm gonna cast a Plague Crafter.
Okay.
I have
Sugar on the stack. I'm going to shock Playcrafter and copy shock targeting Merfolk Branchwalker. So Plague Bear will resolve and get rid of that, and then we both have 1 card.
pass turn. We got 13 to 12 as life totals.
Yep. Go.
Okay. Well, if I had known that was happening, I would have kept this duress.
I don't have it.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it.
I don't have it.
Oh. Pirate.
Yeah.
Go.
That's why all
Yar.
the Planeswalkers are very good against my deck. If I don't have a counterspell, I'm dead. So I have like a bunch of stuff in my hand that doesn't do anything unless I have 9 mana. So I'm just gonna say go. And I'm gonna lose.
Attack you.
I'm at 10.
Play this. Make another pirate.
Yep.
Go.
Well, that costs 10 to ultimate, right?
Yep.
So if I play this Crackling Drake, I have to draw a land so I can Banefire Vraska for 1.
I mean, it's unlikely I go for it, right? Oh, these have menace.
Yes,
So
they
if
have
you play,
menace.
yeah, if you play Cracking Drake, I would go for it.
Yeah,
but if
of
you just
course.
pass, I'm probably not going to go for it.
All right. I'm going to play for... All right, we're dead.
Give it because if you just have a bunch of mana up and have 2 removal spells. Or...
Yeah. So the Chemister's Insight, what I could have done was... the Expansion Explosion. When he played Branchwalker, I can just hit it for 1 and draw a card. And it gets me a little bit deeper into my deck. We don't trade 2 for 2 there. We trade... I actually draw a card, and then he has a 3/4 on the battlefield still. So I'm not sure.
We're on the board.
Well, he still lost the match.
We're on the board.
All right.
1 to 5.
Yeah, 5-1 from my side.
Yeah. He didn't have it. Call the papers. That's tomorrow's headline. He didn't have it. Big letters.
Why would you get rid of the duress? I'm actually very curious.
Because
about
I
that.
only had 6 lands. I was going to slam the Vraska next turn regardless.
Why? Why not just wait? You're not under any pressure once you clear the Crackling Drake.
Well, I assumed my Playcrafter was getting countered.
Oh. Why would you assume that?
I just assumed you had all counter spells because that was the worst possible for me.
And I have been having worst possibles for you a lot lately.
That's how I live my life, Todd.
All right, let's hit a few questions
It's
from
called
Twitch chat.
pessimism. Perhaps
yeah.
you've heard of it.
So since you won, Todd, Grayson wants to know which stream should he send the bits to? This one or yours?
Yeah, put it in my pocket.
You can
please.
send them
What are you
to
talking
my
about?
PayPal account.
No.
No.
All right. How about this? Let's say I don't remember how much he's do like
5,000 bits.
Jesus.
Twitch.tv/Ross
I believe that's what the
Miriam.
number was. 5,000.
You can send them right there.
All I had to do was beat Ross. That's not even very hard. That's a lot of bits for doing a very menial task.
All right, while we figure that out.
Tell him to save it for tomorrow. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow.
All right, that works. So let's see. This was a long name. Zootopian Project Society. So hypothetically, in one of the next 2 Ravnica sets, if Maze's End was reprinted, could we possibly see a Scapeshift Maze's End type deck?
I hope so, because that sounds great. You know,
I agree.
Scapeshift's just in standard right now. You know, boom.
Galaxy brain here.
That sounds awesome, and I hope so. I actually hope there's just another card that's kind of like Mazes In, but the fact that like
Also, just Nexus of Fate, keep activating Mazes In.
Yeah. Ooh, so you can play a deck that's 4 Nexus of Fate, 4 Scape Shift, and 52 lands.
And 4 Teferi, and 48 lands.
48 lands. I'm just saying you can Scape Shift all your lands out of your deck eventually, maybe.
Yeah, Director Robert, who's driving the stream right now, I think he has goosebumps.
I got my Japanese scape shifts ready. Let's go.
Oh.
All right, couple more.
Okay, a couple more. Green-black aristocrats. Could that possibly be a thing with Menagerie and...
I tried a heavy
sack
sacrifice deck, and I got pummeled, but I thought the deck was better than it showed in the match we played on Versus Live a couple weeks ago with that deck. Midnight Reaper was the big payoff in my mind. And Vicious Offering is a very good removal spell, but I don't think you can really go all the way with it. The Aristocrats decks had some really powerful synergies when they were good. Boros Reckoner and Blasphemous Act played things like Lingering Souls and Falconwrath Aristocrat. I don't think any of the individual pieces of a similarly themed deck in this standard format are near that power level, so building around those synergies with mediocre cards is generally not where you want to be. You want synergies between cards that are already at a certain baseline so that if your opponent breaks up the synergies or your draw doesn't pan out, you still win a good portion of the games. You don't want to be dependent on assembling the synergies in order for your cards to be good. And I think that's probably where we are right now. But, in a couple more sets, you don't need too many things to get it going.
Do we even have a free sacrifice outlet?
Vraska, that's not a continuous one.
No, I mean that one I don't think is as good. Like the reason why I think the Aristocrat decks really got a huge boost in popularity and strength was when we figured out that Blood Artist plus all of these cards was nuts. Like if you just have a bunch of creatures that have 2 lives, like we have Hunted Witness already. So like if we get enough of these type of cards, we have something very similar there. If we get a Cartel Aristocrat again, if we get 2, I think the minimum you need is 2 easy sacrifice outlets that are free. And then you can start playing. And then we also need like a Blood Artist.
Yeah, and the Mardu versions of those decks had Cartel Aristocrat, Falconwrath Aristocrat. The Abzin versions have had Cartel Aristocrat and Ferals.
Yep.
So they both had access to 2 different sacrifice outlets. And we don't have any right now.
Yep.
We have some good individual ones, but you really do need the one that converts the resources immediately and without any additional mana or tapping or anything like that.
Yep.
The sort of Nantuko Husk variety of sacrifice outlet.
Yep. One more.
Quickly, Kosher Sandwich points out that Crucible of Worlds is also standard legal, so ooh baby, with the Mazes End deck. That makes it just...
Nice Field of Ruin doofus.
You dingus!
I mean, you could also play like Scape Shift, Crucible of Worlds, and Wayward Swordtooth.
Yeah.
So you get to play a bunch of lands out the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And-
How you like that?
Yeah.
How you like that?
And quickly, a lot of people in chat were wondering with you, Todd, why didn't you bring in Niv Mizzet at all?
Niv-Mizzet is not particularly good against the Golgari decks because their removal is not usually instance and sorcery based. You have the card Ravenous Chupacabra to fend off, which just cleans it up really easily. And then you also have to fend with Golgari Relic Seeker. And both of these cards being expensive, kind of cast on the similar turns where you would be casting Niv-Mizzet, it's just too much of a down. Yeah, they get it.
Yeah, yes, Ross.
We get
It's a
it.
good card.
Chupacabra, good dog.
Very good. I think Patient Rebuilding and Ral Zarek are just going to be the type of card you want in that slot, just because neither of them gets hit by a Chupacabra, or I guess Patient Rebuilding gets hit by a Vraska, but not Chupacabra. So it's a little bit harder to deal with.
Agreed.
All right. Well, we're going to take a short break here while we pay the bills and while Ross and I prepare and get our decks ready for the third match. I believe we're going to have Boros Angels from your side.
Boros Angels.
Yeah, and that's a deck that a lot of people have been asking me about over the last 2 days, ever since ended up winning the Classic at Star City Games SCG Columbus. And then I think there was also one in the top 8, maybe 2 in the top 8 of the Team Open. Was there?
There was one, I believe.
I believe there was one.
Might have been 2.
But
deck's good.
Basically just Deafening Clarion plus creatures with 4 more toughness that can attack and gain a bunch of life, really stretching the viability and the strength of Deafening Clarion, I think is great for this format. Yeah. Not only is it good against a mono red deck, it's great against the Selesnya token decks, which there were 2 in the finals of the Team Open. But yeah, I just think that that deck's really cool.
Yeah,
and then I'm going to be playing, I forget, Oh, yes. This is Andrew Jessup's Grixis mid-range deck or Grixis control deck.
So this is a rematch of the finals,
Yes. Yes. The finals of the
and I'm
SCG
playing
Classic.
the winning deck.
Yeah.
And you're playing the losing deck.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Well, you just played the winning PTQ deck, and I played the 6th place deck, and I whooped you. So.
Yeah, you're very lucky.
If I would fire you.
Okay.
All right. Well, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back with more Versus Live.